Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today, it's going to be a little bit different, but as some of you might have seen, but I'm not too sure. The previous video I uploaded was a test run to see if I could upload an actual game instead of something on my phone to the channel. And this is going to be my second laptop video. I'm going to be trying to go through the arcade mode today. And try to get through some of the characters, but also I'm going to be discussing what happened in Fortnite Zero Hour. It's a it's an event that happened a few days ago, and it was really good. With some of my thoughts on it being, no crap. All right, my thoughts on Zero Hour. It was pretty good. It got me really hyped. And in my opinion, out of all the characters, specifically the giant ones, I'm pretty sure Godzilla and Kong carried in terms of the crossovers. But but there were quite a few complaints that I had about it, like in retrospect. But it was still really good, up there with some of my favorite events in Fortnite. Though, though since I was a lot more invested in the Chapter 6 story, because Chapter 5 didn't really have much going for it. Uh, no, I thought that some of the story relevant characters like Daigo, Jade, and Kendo could have been involved more. And I was also very disappointed in characters like the Supernovas, who had this massive story arc going for them in Chapter 6, Season 3, the season before this. Not before Chapter 6, Season 4 happened. And they struggled against one tentacle. That tentacle being of the Dark Presence. He was barely on the island himself, and they struggled against him and had to have Superman carry them. Which already is kind of sad. So the fact that Chapter 6 Season 4 comes around and they get packed up by a bunch of bugs and have Utopia City taken, that is just... I don't even know. And on top of that... And on top of that, when the Dark Presence actually showed up, at least they arrived, at least for a few moments of the event. They didn't really do much, though, to help out in the fight. Because I don't even think I saw them other than the beginning and them running with us towards the Dark Presence itself. This massive demon kaiju that they were going to try and prevent from coming onto the island and now having to fight. And the fact that they barely showed up is just like, why? They were like, bro, and these guys, they were really corny, especially and I'm with the least corny one in my opinion being Kill Switch until Chapter 6 Season 4, but like they at least had something going for them. But enough about that. With the story, with some of the original characters of Fortnite, it was now sure some of the original ones like Mecha Team Leader and the Devourer came and fought alongside us, but the no, but others no, but other Fortnite original characters and factions like OXR, the Onimorph Extermination Rangers, they could have had a bigger help as well, and we could have at least had something help us figure out what was going on while we were stuck in Springfield during the mini season, since the Dark Presence was brought there, and we were just stuck there because of Kang and Kronos. I think that's what their names were for the alien, no, for the Trails of Horror aliens that showed up during Fort Nightmares, and the Chapter 6 Season 1 mini event. Well, not chapter, and the Chapter 6 Season 4 mini event. That's my bad. Now, what would I rate the event? Definitely something like a 9 out of 10. It was really good, really great choreography, and of course, my boys Godzilla and Kong returned again. And what I mean by again, they showed up in Chapter 6, Season 1, made that basically a really good introduction to the chapter, and made me consider it the Tokusatsu chapter, especially after Chapter 6 dropped and the Power Rangers arrived. Hold on a minute. Let me take care of this stupid plant. Alright. Now, a few things that I'm also kind of a little bit mad at are is the hype that Homer was going to be there, and I was thinking that at least he was going to do a little bit something else to help in the fight when he really barely even did anything. But no, but at least it was more than Devourer who just stood there after one beam and then was just watching. Like, I don't even know why that was even the case when that shouldn't have even happened at all. Like, if you were gonna bring back everything from Chapter 6 as well as some of the stuff in Fortnite's history, then at least have them fight as well. Not just have them in the background and have like one or two, maybe three characters carrying the fight. And that doesn't mean just shove the collabs to the side if you're gonna make them important. Like that's also what they did with with some of the collab characters like Godzilla and Kong. Even the Megazord got a few hits and like shooting some rockets and even slashing the monster a few times. And also, this might have been the most collab heavy event ever, especially with the trailer already having a bunch of parallels to the cinematic intro to Chapter 2, Season 5's event, Zero Crisis Finale, where all the hunters, aka the collaborations that came into Fortnite, as well as the Fortnite original hunters that came over to that stopped loopers from getting out of the island in the first place with the exposed 0 point. Uh, stupid. God. Alright. Now, anyway, as I was saying, the trailer for Zero Hour had a lot of parallels to the Zero Crisis finale with the amount of collabs and the sheer chaos of the matter going on. At least that's what I and a bunch of other people were saying. And they weren't wrong. It still generated just as much hype. And plus, funnily enough, the one collaboration that they actually share is Halo because as both Master Chief and the UNSC Spartans showed up in both trailers. Uh, shoot, what else is there about the event? Um, Look, it's been a few days, and hype for me at least has toned down a bit. While people are still posting footage on what specific and certain characters were doing that were supposedly highlights of the event going on, so you can form your own opinions on who did what during the event, and who carried and who didn't. my personal opinion after seeing the event as well as watching some replay footage of what people have shown off of what specific characters are doing. My bets are still on Godzilla, Kong, and Mecha Team Leader carrying, with Mecha Team Leader finishing the job while Kong and Godzilla basically did most of the fighting. Like, dude, why is it that there were a bunch of giant characters? I'm talking the Megazord, Homer Simpson, and the Devourer, Mecha Team Leader, Godzilla, Kong, and a freaking Star Destroyer. And then you had Godzilla and Kong carrying the fight. Like, they were doing most of the work. Like, the Megazord probably just slashed it a few times and then shot a few rockets, but that's it. Homer just strangled one of the tentacles, but just got yoinked before fighting back. So, still, it kind of baffles me how the event was supposed to be massive, and like I was thinking that it was gonna have focus on both storyline characters from Chapter 6 as well as the collabs, like have a good balance. It still seemed collab, but it was definitely like a heavy mixture. Like, you know the feeling when you have all sorts of different toys from different franchises and brands and you just mash them together? That's what people are saying about this event, and well, at least from what I've seen online as well. And it, looking back, it actually kind of does make sense on what it felt like. But if you looked into it for story, it was pretty good in wrapping up Chapter 6. Like, we even saved the island. I'm pretty sure the only other island that survived an end event was Chapter 5. Like, we just left it, and then Chapter 6 Season 1 Winterfest, that trailer took place in Doomstrat, a location in Chapter 5. Meaning that people are still on Chapter 5's island, living normal lives. So Oni no Shira could go right there with Chapter 5 in the only surviving islands. Every other island, probably destroyed. Alright, let me run it back with PP Juris real quick. But my general thoughts on Zero Hour, really good event. Like, still really good, even with my complaints. Hence, I'm not gonna deny that it was hype as hell. Really cool. Well, and definitely got me excited. But overall ranking of the event, I want to say like it's a 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, of course. But what I could have had done differently if I were in charge of it, I probably would have had more of a focus on the storyline as well as Fortnite original characters rather than having the collabs do most of the fights. Especially considering that the Dark Presence was a Fortnite original villain that we needed like multiple collabs just to fight against that thing. Like, bro, I'm pretty sure we've done all sorts of other characters that were just as dangerous, like the freaking Imagined Order, and we fought with them alongside the 7 and we won. Now, I'm not asking for something on a major scale as something like that, because like this was still better than the Collision event, Chapter 3, Season 2. But it still had a focus on not only Fortnite original stuff. In fact, I'm pretty sure that was the only focus on it. Come on, let me get that stupid rock. No, 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 no. Oh, crap. Gotcha! Alright. That'll do it for Gigabash. But for Fortnite Zero Hour, 9 out of 10. Have more of it. No, the next event, hopefully it focuses more on the storyline instead of having the collab. Like, but also, like, something that this also debuted with, at least for a Chapter 7 collab, Kill Bill. How is it that the supernovas, teenagers that have superpowers, struggled against one tentacle? We're talking a girl with magic powers, somebody with powered guns, sound powers, and a freaking monster with the power of the storm itself, something that the Zero Point conjured to protect itself. And it struggled. And they struggled against the freaking Dark Presence's single tentacle. Yet a powerless woman that knows martial arts, practically an assassin, riding a motorcycle, holding it with nothing but a katana, was able to take that thing down.
What?
How did one powerless woman figure out how to beat that thing easily when like 5 teens with superpowers couldn't? That's just wild.
Wait, what? What are you saying about?